art to wear is one of my biggest goals when creating outfits. These wearable art pieces focus on artistic and aesthetic appreciation instead of mainstream fashion. Today I'm thrifting for all these artful pieces and upcycling some of my found items. Then I'm styling all of them up into artistic looks. If you enjoy thrifting, upcycling, and styling, just keep watching to See Jane Thrift. I just found this anthropology dress for $4.99. It's absolutely stunning, but it is a size small. It looks kind of oversized. I've held it up to myself, but I'm going to try this on. But I just love this detail up here at the front. The color is stunning. The dress actually fits. Y'all will have to wait till the try-on portion for me to show you that. But I'm here in the sleepwear, loungewear section, and I found this robe. It is called Rehab's Robe. It's brand new with tags, and look at this stunning fabric. I mean, those florals are amazing. I think it's 100% cotton. It sure feels like it. And it is only $5.99. I think these retail for a lot more than that. I will do some research and tell you in the try-on portion. I am here at the clothesline in Waco, and I'm looking at all their jewelry. I found this fabulous wooden bagel. I must be hungry. Bangle bracelet. Thought that was so cute for $3. And now I'm looking at their necklaces. I am undecided about this. Do I like it or do I not? The color is amazing. All of these seed bead. Super cute. And here's some other. This is the other one I'm looking at. All of these charms. I cannot read the little tag. And then I also found this little shell one. Not sure how I feel about that one either, but I especially love this super colorful one and the bracelet. A little while back, I had done a video on me getting a bag of clothes for $10 from the thrift store. And when I did that, I have to say majority of the items were pieces that I was going to upcycle. Well, today for my upcycles, for my art to wear video, I'm going to be pulling 3 items from that video. If you haven't checked it out, I will link it here for you. But I'm going to be doing those. So let's get started on the upcycles. Now for this eyelet dress. The more that I looked back at the footage of when I originally tried this on, the more I was like, no, I don't really care for that, and I have not worn it since. It's been just hanging in my closet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to alter this into 2 different pieces. I'm going to do a skirt, which you probably have already seen in another video. I will link that one here. And today I'm going to be showing you how I am going to convert this top section into a top that I know that I'm going to wear. I've got my dress all laid out, and what I have done is underneath this waist seam, I have marked 3.5 inches down. I want this to have a little bit of a peplum, and I like that this shirt is oversized, so it's going to be a little bit of a boxy shape on me. Where I didn't like it on the dress, I think I'm going to like it on the top. So now I'm going to go around on this marking where I have 3.5 inches, and cut it all the way around. Now that I have the top removed from the skirt portion, I can go ahead and start work on the next steps of this top portion. I'm already loving the shape of this with the little peplum here on the bottom. Now that I have the top part of this dress removed, I'm going to be tea staining this. And if you're curious to know what happened with the bottom part of that dress, I will leave a link to that video. And I did create a skirt out of that, but this one I want it to be on its own. I'm not sure what I want to apply to this, if anything, after I tea stain it. I kind of want it to speak to me after that. So the same with this torrid black and white shirt. I want this to look very vintagey. I definitely want to add some patches and applique to this, but I want to actually tea stain it prior because some of the pieces I'm thinking about applying, I don't want to have those muted. So I'm going to go ahead and tea stain this piece as well. So let's head on in and do that. Okay, hold on. Before I start the tea staining, I have to show you this dress. This one that I didn't like the lining in. I actually removed the bottom tier. I'm still unsure of what I'm going to do with the top part. I will figure that out, be rest assured. But what I did was add that bottom tier to this adorable graphic t-shirt. And I already showed this in a thrift with me video because I thrifted the t-shirt. But I also mentioned in there that I wanted to tea stain this. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the tea staining pile. I've got my tea bath all ready here. And all I did to prepare this, I have this large pot that I filled a little bit more than halfway. And then I added a cup of salt. I brought that water to a boil. And then once it's hit a boil, I did turn the heat off and add my tea bags. I am just using a generic tea brand. It's a black tea. And I just removed all of the strings from the bags. So I went ahead and put the whole entire box of 24 tea bags in here. And then I steeped it for 15 minutes. And after that, I went ahead and removed all of the tea bags with a spoon. And now I'm ready to tea stain. I got both the eyelet piece and the torrid plaid shirt wet, and I just wrung them out. And now I'm going to go ahead and add them to the tea bath. And I am going to stir these frequently, and I'm going to leave them in for an hour to let it do its thing. I went ahead and removed the shirt, actually the two shirts, and I'm going to go ahead and rinse those out. But I'm now going to add my upcycled shirt that I added the eyelet to. And I'm going to let, again, this sit here for an hour, stirring occasionally. I now have all three of my shirts here out of the tea bath, and I am just in the process of rinsing them out until the water runs clear. And then I'm going to take it over to the washer and dryer, and they should be all set. Now that all three pieces are done with their tea staining, the first piece I'm going to work on is the eyelet one. Here it is. I love this vintage color. It is so beautiful, and I have decided I am going to leave this edge at the bottom here raw, and I love all of the fringes that the wash and dry did for it. I've decided though, I do want to apply some appliques to this. And I don't know what it is about these projects. There's particular things that I've collected that when I got this out of the dryer, I'm like, I want to have this applique on it. It's like they just speak to me. I don't know how else to explain it, but I had gotten this quilt at an estate sale a while ago. It was really inexpensive, mostly because it is kind of fallen apart. But I love that about pieces. I don't mind if they're fraying and kind of crumbling. I love that aesthetic. But look at this pink with the little floral patchwork quilt pieces on here. I'm going to go ahead and use one of these floral round pieces on the shirt. So let's head on into the kitchen in my little workspace and get started. I have decided on this one out of all of them. They're all very similar, but I just thought this one would work for my project. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this round floral piece here on the quilt. And as far as I know, I'm just going to use one. We'll see how that goes. Now that I have this piece removed from the quilt, and believe you me, I will be using that quilt on many future projects, I am going to fold this in half where I think that goes well. And now I'm just going to cut that, and I'm going to use two pieces on the front of this shirt. One piece I'm going to use down here right at that seam above the little peplum, almost like a little sun coming out there. Then the other one I want to use up here at the shoulder, but I just need to figure out how I want to apply that. I know I'm going to have to cut around the neckline, so I'm just going to play around with that and see what shape I want. I decided to cut out a second quilt piece for up here at the neckline. I wanted it to just curve around this neckline. I needed a little bit more. So super pleased with this layout. I've just slipped a mat in between the front and the back layer so I can then pin on these quilt pieces onto the shirt, and then I will take it over to my sewing machine and sew them on. Now I am just going to use a straight stitch. I have kind of a brown golden thread that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be going around all of the edges as close to the edge as possible. Now I've reached the top corner of the neckline here, so I'm planting my needle down as far as it can go, then lifting my presser foot, and I'm going to turn the fabric here in the direction that I will need it to go. Then go ahead and put my presser foot back on and continue on and just kind of move around these scallops. And here she is. She is fabulous. She is beautiful. This was actually really a lot of fun to do. I love the tea stain, and then this quilting just finished it off for me. I know that I'm going to be wearing this a lot more than I ever would that white eyelet dress, including I got the skirt out of that dress as well. And this is a totally different feel. This is definitely art to wear. these quilting pieces represent another woman's piece of art to me. And because it is falling apart, it is, coming apart. There's big, huge rips in that quilt that I didn't show y'all. So it wasn't usable as a blanket or a quilt anymore, but I still want to give life to these pieces because this is history. This is another maker who had a quilting talent that I want to treasure. I want to carry on. And I love that I'm able to make pieces like this that I can wear and enjoy and share with others. So very excited about this piece. You'll see me styling this up in the styling portion at the end of the video. Now it's time to move on to the Torrid top. Here it is out of its tea stain bath, all washed and dried. It was a subtle change and I wasn't sure how this was going to take, but I love this instead of the white. And I think it's just going to look so perfect with the idea that I have. This is going to be a little more complicated than the eyelet top, but this is going to have a lot of patches, a lot of different fabrics on here. Let me kind of review with you at least what I think I'm going to be using. I may use all of them, I may not, but I just have this striped fabric here. It's a very fine little stripe there. This is a pair of pants. I actually used these on some patchwork jeans that I did recently. I have some plaid. Some of these I've used on some previous projects as well. I have a little pillow cover that I thrifted. I'm thinking I'll definitely use that one. We'll see. I just have some bits and bobs. This is from a shirt that I cut off the button portion of the shirt. I have some quilt topper. I have some other little quilt pieces. And oh, here's the shirt that I cut the buttons off of. I may use that for patches as well. I have a drapery panel with some florals. I've definitely used this one before as well. And then I have a multi-print drapery panel that I want to use as well. So this is going to be stripes, plaids, florals. It's definitely going to be really busy, and let's get started on it. It is actually the next day. Yesterday, I spent most of the time I had allotted for upcycling, just designing this whole piece, cutting out all the patches and figuring out where I want to put them. So now I'm going to show you what I have planned. This shirt just has like this popover style with the 3 buttons here on the top, but I'm going to take that piece that I removed from that one shirt that has the buttons and just place it here so it kind of resembles that it is a full button down. I will pin that on in just a moment, but I'm also going to apply this piece, this blue gray floral, and I'm going to apply it to the rest of the trim here. And I need to cut little slits in here. I'm not going to finish it where the buttonholes are, but I'm just going to slip that over the buttons, and then I can pin these on and sew them on. All right, I've got the little button details sewn on. I will be taking you over to the sewing machine here on some of these further patches here that I'm working on. But I am going to make this an asymmetrical design. If you haven't noticed from my past designs, I love asymmetry. So I'm just going to place this one linen patch that I cut. I don't think I even showed you this fabric. I decided this yesterday from a tablecloth that I thrifted. So I am going to lay that there. It's a little bit lower than the original hemline. And I also have this striped fabric that I showed y'all, and I'm just gonna lay that right on top of that. And I'm gonna pin that on. I'm gonna add a couple more patches to this one side before I take it to the machine. I can't put all of them all on at once because it just gets too much when you're sewing and with all the pins and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead, like this side better. This is actually the back side of the fabric. I like it a little bit faded. This little striped fabric. And then I also have this yellow floral. Place that right here on that side. And once I get these pinned on, I will take this to my sewing machine and put these on. I have already started sewing these patches on, and I am just sewing as close to the edge as possible, going around each and every one. The patches are pretty simple to do because you're just doing a straight stitch. Then when you reach a corner, you plant your needle all the way down, lift your presser foot, move the fabric in the direction that you need to go in the 90 degrees, and then lower your presser foot and then continue on all the way around the patch. Okay, I've got all of these patches sewn on. I love the way that this looks so much. And I told you this is going to be a little bit more of a complicated, busy design. So I'm just going to keep adding on more and more. And I have this patch piece from a quilt. And I'm just going to place that right there. And then I have this gray blue floral. It's the same that I put up here on where the buttons are. Line that up. Well, I think I wanted it this way. That right there. And then this little floral stripe, same as this button piece here. Place that right on top there. And a couple more pieces. And then I cut out this floral applique to add here to the front. I think just about right there. That looks good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pin these on and sew them on. I have all the square and rectangular patches sewn on to this one side, and now I just have the floral applique to do. So I'm just going to start here. I just chose a random side to start with. Just using a straight stitch, stitching as close to the edge as possible. And I'm just going to be turning the fabric on these more not too deep of curves. I've reached a point where I don't feel comfortable turning the fabric where it's going to go correctly. So I've just planted the needle down into the fabric, lifting the presser foot and turning the fabric, then lowering the presser foot and then continuing on. Ooh, this is looking so cute. Okay. I'm now going to do this other side of the shirt. I just have two patches. I have this yellow floral and then this blue quilt patch. I'm going to do the same that I did on this other side And when I come back, I am going to turn my attention to the back. Okay, I'm all done with the sewing on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. Go ahead and slip my mat in between here so I can pin my patches on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out each of the patches of where they're going to go. I'm going to do them in stages, but you've already seen how it's done. So I'm going to go ahead, show you that, and the next time you see this, I'll have it all sewn up. And here's the back of the shirt all sewn on. I have also washed and dried this, so all of the edges are really just frayed and raw, which is what I love. So I have one more step that I want to do on this, and that is paint. Is it any indication by what I'm wearing? I have my little painting coveralls on, and I want to add some white and black paint spatter to just finish this off. So let's head on in and get started on that. I've got my shirt all laid out. I'm going to do the front first, and I just have some protective cover here on my work surface, and I'm just going to be using just regular acrylic craft paint in white and black. And what I'm going to do is mix it with this fabric painting medium. And I am using a liberal amount of this in this particular project. I want the consistency to be very, very liquidy and thin. So I have mixed my white paint and my black paint. It is turned a little bit grayish. I'm curious to see what this will dry down like, but I don't mind that at all because I'm going to be using some paint brushes here, one for each color. And the painting medium, what it does is give it some flexibility and softness after it dries. And if you don't use it, which I've done before too, it's a little more crispy and it kind of flakes off just a little bit. It does a little bit of cracking, which sometimes I actually like that. So it just kind of depends on the project if I use the medium or not. And sometimes I use more or less depending on how I'm applying it. And the reason that I already washed and dried this was because when I do a paint application, I like to leave it on for at least a week before putting it in the wash, just for it to completely cure. So that's what I do. And so I'm just going to start off with the white paint. It's probably going to be my most applied. And I'm just going to get a whole bunch, like really, really load up my brush and just kind of do little drops here. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to the black. Again, really, really load up that brush and just let it drip. So much fun. So much fun. Okay, I think that that's all that I want to do on the front. I'm going to let this do its thing and dry quite a bit. And later on today, I'll flip it over, do the same thing on the back. And the next time that you see this, I will be styling it up in the styling portion. Oh, I love this project. Definite art to wear. I wanted to hop in here before we go on with the rest of the video, just make a quick little announcement. I wanted to share with y'all that all of the music is now original to See Jane Thrift, thanks to my amazingly talented sister who not only wrote original music for my YouTube channel, but she recorded it and sent it to me. I said I wasn't going to cry on this, so I wanted to give a special thanks to her. She watches my videos and is such a huge advocate and such a encouragement to me for doing these, and I just want to say a big thanks to her. She is just wonderful, and just hope that you enjoy the music as well. I've done all my thrifting and I've done my upcycling for my art to wear, and we've got the bangle, we have that gorgeous beaded necklace, the anthropology dress, the cotton robe, and then of course the 3 upcycles, the eyelet top, the plaid top, and the cowboy boot top. Now I'm going to be styling up all of these pieces into really funky and fun outfits. I'm going to be wearing them throughout the week and pairing them with other items that I pulled from my collection of secondhand items. So let's get styling. Today I'm wearing 2 pieces that I found. First is this gorgeous Anthropologie mauve Abilene crochet yoke maxi dress. It retailed for $170 and I paid $4.99. I'm also wearing the little bangle, the wood bangle with the metal embellishment here that I got at Clothesline. It retails for about $10 and I got it for $3. Oh, this is so stunning. This is what reminded me of something that that would qualify for art to wear. This crochet kind of, it almost reminds me of macrame up here at the top. Just stunning. And then all the tassels has this little metallic thread that's running through the fabric as well. So stunning. I love it with the bangle as well. I decided to wear it with this really colorful pattern filled clutch bag with all the little coins and the tassels. It looks so good together. And then I just have these lace up sandals that have some jewels in there as well. This is like a vacation worthy outfit. This is a going out to dinner outfit. This is just stunning. I decided to wear my hair up today because I thought it looked so good with this high neck, and it just ties in the back there with the tassel. Really a stunning, stunning dress. And I love this outfit. It's a very artful, just done in a more elegant way. Perfection. Today I'm wearing the Rahab's Rope Royal Paradise cotton robe. I'm wearing it as a kimono today. It retailed for $64 and I paid $5.99. I'm also wearing the Tresca necklace that I found at Clothesline. I had never heard of this brand before. It's stunning. Retailed for $120 and I paid $3. And I love the 2 pairings together. This is very, very artistic, and that's what I love about it. The print on this, what I'm calling a kimono robe, is just gorgeous. And I paired it with some colors that I pulled out of the robe, some green Free People pants, and then this kind of peachy pink shirt. This is also a Free People piece. Some rag and bone suede little espadrilles, and then this leather tote bag. I think all of this together makes for a very artistic look, art to wear. I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to be creative. I'm actually thrifting today and I'm just got those creative juices flowing all with this outfit started today. Today I'm wearing the upcycled eyelet top that used to be a dress. You've already seen me do the skirt from that dress, and now here's the top portion of it. I paid 84 cents for that dress, already made the skirt, and now this top, I believe, could easily retail for $100. I did put quite a bit of work into it, and I love the way that it turned out. I'm pairing it with these upcycled pants that I did. They're a purple and yellow floral. I did these prior to me starting YouTube, so I don't have a video showing you how I made them, but I have several other tutorials for jeans and pants that you can definitely check out. It's a very similar process. I also have these little Vince Camuto shoes, these little sneakers. I think they look so good with the color and the resemblance with the top now that it's tea stained. And I just, this is so fantastic. This is the definition of art to wear. And I love that I'm able to pass on the quilting here that someone else did and continue that moving on without it being stuck in a cupboard somewhere or just trashed, to be perfectly honest with you. I have this little locket necklace that I thrifted, and also this sweet little basket bag. This is an Urban Outfitters piece that I got on Poshmark. The entire piece is so fantastic. I mean, the entire outfit. I just love it. This is definitely what I am always striving for, and this is so much fun. Today I'm wearing the upcycled Torrid plaid shirt. It retailed for $60 and I paid 84 cents for this piece. And with all this work that I've done on it, it could easily sell for upwards of $150. This was a more intense project to work on, but I love it. I love the patches on the back too. It's exactly what I was looking for. Very much art to wear. I love every single element of it, and I'm so glad that I took the time to do something like this. And I love the tea staining on this shirt as well. It just turned out so good. And I paired it with some tan shorts today. I think these are some Old Navy piece, some shorts that I got at Goodwill a while ago. I have this little bucket hat. I thought it went so good with this entire look. I have my hair back in a couple of buns with some wispies here in the front. And I have this tattered yellow fabric bead necklace on that I thrifted as well. And then I have this really adorable multimedia bag here, and I think it looks so good with this entire look. And then I just have my Birkenstocks here on my feet. What an absolute transformation from that just plain black and white Torrid shirt. Fantastic. I love that I was able to pick that piece up and turn it into this amazing piece of art. Today I'm wearing the completed cowboy boot top now that it's all tea stained. I love this. I paid $4.83 for the t-shirt and the dress. That is the bottom portion of this top, and it could easily sell for $75. I love the way that this one turned out, and I also love the way that this outfit turned out. Super art to wear and funky, just the way that I like it. I have these linen shorts that are so cute and comfortable that I paired with the top. And then I have these cream colored clog sandals. I think they look so good with the new like vintage looking lace here. And then I have for jewelry, I have this leopard little cuff with the lace tie. And I had recently found, I posted this on my Instagram, this adorable vintage charm necklace. So, so good. And then I just decided to pair it with this Western fringe handbag for the complete look. So glad that I ended up tea staining this because I love the finished result. The total value for everything that I thrifted and upcycled is worth $689, and I paid a total of $23.49. That is a difference of $665.51. Well, that does it for today's video. I love art to wear. That's like my goal for everything that I put on. I even today with this necklace, it's so like artist worthy. And it's just something that I strive for. And I hope that y'all got some ideas for upcycling and styling and even thrifting. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me and my channel grow and get things out there to the algorithm and to get new subscribers. And if you are not yet a subscriber, I would love to have you here. Please subscribe and become a part of our secondhand and thrifted family. Love to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Next week, I'm going to be shopping for some pre-fall items, so you don't want to miss it. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.